I don't even know where to go, and we're 2 points below West Ham.
Yep.
West Ham play Crystal Palace next. I know Crystal Palace got a good result this weekend, but
playing off the back of Europe.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it past West Ham going and getting the 3 points this weekend. And if West Ham do go and get the 3 points this weekend, there's a big chance that we could be 5 points behind them after the game this weekend, because this Brighton game is really difficult. Brighton are on really good form.
They've turned it around. They're a very good team. They've turned it around. They're now in the hunt for Europe. They got their tails up. They're one of those teams as well where if you catch them on a good day for them, they can give anyone a game. So they're a very good footballing team. Hotspur's doing a good job. Obviously, it's one of those teams that are gonna go at you a bit, and maybe leave a bit of space, and maybe you can attack them. But at the end of the day, we're not attacking anyone well at the moment, and we're not defending particularly brilliantly either. And it's like, how do we? A few weeks ago, you would have been confident about that Brighton game. They were in terrible form. And then, a team you'd like to face, maybe they're on the beach, but they're not on the beach anymore. They're very much, you hear what they're talking about. They're very close in the table to Europe. They're talking about how going on a European hunt, their players. Hertz is saying every game now is like a cup final to get Europe. So all of a sudden they've got something to play for. And they're coming up against us, who are just so low on confidence. And they're a team that, as much as, yes, we might play into our hands how they play, but as well, they're going to be confident. They're going to be bopping it around us. And there's definitely a chance we're going to be chasing shadows in that game and everything. And look, this isn't a preview of Brighton. The point being is 100%. Every game at the moment is a struggle for Tottenham. And until we get that one win to get the confidence back, you don't see where it's going to come from. But
a loss against Brighton next weekend, it's going to be the most detrimental defeat of the season, because all three of our relegation rivals all have winnable games.
Yep.
West Ham play Crystal Palace, Leeds play Wolves at home.
Yep.
Nottingham Forest play Burnley at home.
Yep.
So it could become insurmountable after next weekend. It really could.
Yep.
Like, next weekend could be the weekend. Like, if we go 5 points behind...
We're in the relegation zone.
I know, but 2 points, one game can overturn it. If you go 5 points behind, then, I mean, I keep saying, like, we're not going to go down. But if we go 5 points behind next weekend, I don't think there's any overturning that. I really don't. The only chance that we've got is that Leeds, they're the only chance that we got, because they play West Ham and us in the last 3 game weeks of the season. That's the only chance that we got to save it after that. But I just 5 points behind with 5 games to go. Like, are you serious?
This is where we are. Look, the reality is, if we go, this is a culmination of the horrible decisions from this hierarchy, and this is where it's led to. You look at the league table now. We are in that relegation zone. We are 2 points away from West Ham. Even that is ridiculous in itself. We couldn't even get the draw this weekend to even make sure that the situation isn't too bad. We couldn't even do that. We lost. This is a culmination of every bad decision, and I think this hierarchy just think that they will find a silver bullet from somewhere. That if you throw enough money at the situation, well, they threw it too late. I would say, but if we throw enough money, a good manager like Zerbi, he will save us. If we can just coast, with Igor Tudor from now to the end of the season, and then get Poch in at the end of the season, that will save us.
Same with Frank, yeah.
If we can just coast with Frank, it won't get that bad, will it? It won't get that bad. He can get us enough results to just make sure we're in the division next season, and then we'll go get Poch. Nope, that didn't work. None of these things are working. And at the end of the day, they have to look at themselves. And I think at this point, if you're looking at the situation objectively, I think it looks like a lost cause right now. It looks like a complete lost cause. That is the truth. We want something to come in and save us. We find it hard to believe that we're in the situation where nothing can be done, where it's too little, too late. I'm sure Leicester or maybe felt that maybe that they were going to stay up. There's a lot of teams, Newcastle, Villa. I'm sure when they were in these situations, they all felt like we did. Like, surely we can't go down, can we? Like, Surely something's going to come in and save us. Surely the players will start to step up at some point. Surely this new manager will turn it around. Surely we're Newcastle, we're Villa, we're Tottenham. Surely something's going to come in. Surely these owners' bad decisions aren't that bad that there's nothing that can be done. Sure, there's something that can be done, but at the end of the day, we said it. We've said it, and we were spot on. It's too little, too late. We left it way too late to sack Frank. We then not only did we leave it too late, we then compounded that decision by bringing the wrong guy in Tudor, and that just compounded the situation. We've now given De Zerbi 7 games to save us and get us out of the situation when we haven't won a game in 2026, and now we're asking him to win 3 of our next 6 games at the very least. Even that might not be enough, but just to give us a fighting chance, he has to win 3 of his next 6 games, and we haven't won in 14 games. We've won 2 games in our last 23 games. So you look at that whole situation and you think, how the hell can the ownership expect anything to save us right now when the damage? I feel like the damage has been done. That's the truth. And maybe it's not. Maybe we can turn it around somehow. Maybe we'll get a lucky win. Maybe we'll get some wins we don't even deserve, but we can just somehow, luckily, we'll get the luck. But at the moment, we're not getting the luck. And we can't rely on the luck right now because it's not going for us. So we have to rely on ourselves being good enough to win games.
And we're not.
And we're not. We're not good enough to win games. So how the hell are we going to get out of this situation? I find it hard to deal with and believe I feel like I want to believe we're going to get out of it. Something will happen. We'll win a game. There will be something that comes in, swoops in and saves the day. Maybe Maddison will do it. Maybe he'll come in with 3 games to go and win our last 3 games. Maybe that'll be it. Maybe something will happen. Something miraculous will happen, and we can turn it around. But right now, all logic, all evidence suggests that this is a lost cause. This is a sinking ship, and there are too many holes to plug, and we don't have the equipment to plug these holes. We just don't. We don't. There's nothing left here, and the ownership have to look at themselves. I think. They think that they can still do something, but I think what they've missed is all these teams are facing at the moment. They're all well planned. They're well organized teams. They all have plans. All teams nowadays have projects. All teams nowadays are very well run. A lot of them are very well run, and we have fallen behind. That is reality. We are falling behind. I think it's very rare. I think these days where you just get a new manager in, a club like Tottenham and the form we're in, and he can just turn it around immediately. Especially with the amount of games left we have, it's not a common thing. I think back in the day, it's like we're still stuck in 2008, where that kind of stuff was commonplace. And you could just do that, and you could just rely on a new manager bounce, and you could just rely on a firefighter coming in and saving you, and all these things. I think nowadays, the Premier League is so tough. Every team now has good managers, good projects, well organised, good players as well, good recruitment. And we have fallen by the wayside. If you don't have all of those things, you're going to you're going to fall behind. And we are falling well behind. And just getting a new manager ain't going to fix it. It ain't going to fix it. And I think we're seeing that now. Look, it is only 1 game. And obviously, De Zerbi is going to get time. He could lose all 6 games. He ain't getting sacked. Okay, this isn't like Tudor, where if the results are that bad, he'll go. This guy's going to be here till the end of the season, and he'll hopefully be here next season as well, even if we do go down. So it's not about him out or anything. It's just about, let's just cross our fingers, cross our toes, cross everything you got, and just hope, pray that something can change. Because at the moment, it's going to need a miracle. It's going to need a miracle, and I can't believe we're saying that. Before, I don't even think it needed a miracle to turn us around. It just needed some average form. But now it's like we need something miraculous to happen. It's bordering on a great escape at this point to get us out of this situation.
Well, it will be if the results go the way I think it's going to go this weekend. It will need a great escape. 5 points to go. 5 points with 5 games to go. Pretty much is a great escape at that point.
Well, if we lose to Brian, yeah.
Yeah. So
let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's not 5 points yet. It's 2 points. Let's just focus on that.
But the likelihood is it can be 5 points.
I think football is a weird game. You can't ever predict.
I pray it's not. I do pray
Like
it's not.
Arsenal, they lost to Bournemouth. No one would have predicted that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those three teams, or all of those three teams, don't win. I wouldn't be surprised. So, let's take it game by game. But right now, it's 2 points. Even that, at the moment, it seems insurmountable. We can't get one win.
Yeah.
And draws. We're not going to draw our way out of the situation.
Yeah. We need wins and we need them quick. And this ownership have bloody blood on their hands. Wrong decision after wrong decision after wrong decision. Going back a number of years, it's getting worse and worse year on year. It's getting worse very quickly. And the decisions that they've made consistently this season have been the worst of the lot.
Farcical.
Not to sack Frank, to leave it until mid-February to sack Frank was a joke in itself. To go the whole of January and sign the players that we did was a joke. To sell Brennan Johnson on the first day of the window, Kudus getting injured for 3 months, which turns out to be 6 months on the second day of the window, and still not bringing a forward was a joke. When the players available, you had players available that were probably willing to come to Spurs in Ryan, Oscar Bob, and Ademola Lookman. They don't do it. They say, oh, don't worry. Don't worry. There's no chance Spurs are going to go down. We're going to coast through, and then we'll go get Pochettino at the end of the season. Every decision that this club has made throughout this whole course of the season is the reason why we're in this mess. So we need a hero. We need a miracle. And let's hope it comes, but it's hard to see it.
God. It's very, very difficult at the moment being a Tottenham fan. It is so hard being a Tottenham fan. I just feel so resigned. Every game you're expecting something to turn around. And okay, we'll see something different today. And it's just the same. It's just the same. Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
The only thing that gives me maybe a bit of hope is when I think Everton were in a very similar situation when they were under Frank, weren't they? And it literally was like the last 4 games they turned it around.
Yeah.
And they just about scraped on the last day. I think in the penultimate game, weren't they? They were 2-0 down to Palace, knowing that they had Arsenal away at the last day of the season, and they needed to beat Palace to pretty much stay up. And they did turn it around at 1-3-2 and by the skin of their teeth. But they looked resigned at that point, and they somehow saved themselves. But I don't know if we have it in us.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have it in us.
Well, it's all the chickens are gonna, like you said in the video, chickens have come home to roost, and it's time for the men to stand up for these final 6 games of the season, and it has to start this weekend. De Zerbi has to get something out of these boys, and the mentality has to change. That's what we need. We need fighters on the football pitch, not just until the 0-0, until we ultimately go 1-0 down, but when we go 1-0 down, they need to fight even harder to get back in the game, not just lay down for every single team that we do. So,
I mean, you can't just change the mentality like that. You need time. And I was with Ryan yesterday. He was going through some stats. He said 8 teams in Premier League history have had 3 managers or more in a season. 6 of them have gone down. Only 2 of them stayed up. Of those 2 teams, they both gave their third manager at least 13 games. So no one has ever stayed up in the situation we're in, essentially, is what we're saying.
Who are the 2 teams?
I can't remember. I don't know who it was, to be honest. But the stats are no one has stayed up when in the situation that we've put ourselves in.
Grim. Just grim. The whole situation is grim. What more is there to say, man? We're just in this fucked situation. Everyone. The players, the managers, the board. Absolutely ridiculous, man.